Welcome back, everybody. We're here to pull cards for May the 22nd. I'm going to be pulling one overview card for basically the collective for the day, and then we'll look at a card per sign. Okay, so the overview card that we have showing up is the King of Water in reverse. Interesting. King of Water in reverse has to do with the idea of not being in control of your emotions or letting your emotions sort of overpower your logic whenever the King of Water shows up in reverse. So this is in the collective energy, which just means, this could be happening with each of us as individuals, or we could actually be interacting with somebody who's got this going on. So basically the whole collective is impacted by either feeling like this themselves or somebody in their sphere of influence going through this. All right, let's look at Aries. So Aries, we have the Justice card. Now the Justice card, to me, I'm going crazy because this does not look straight to me at all. Hang on, guys. Okay, much better. Okay, so Aries, Justice card. When the Justice card comes out, what that tells me is that there is a decision being made about cutting off a connection between yourself and somebody else. So this decision is one that is being made in a fair way when I see it here. So if this is a relationship, then this would say that the person who's been putting in the most energy and effort into the relationship and is probably not seeing very much coming back their direction, they're deciding to cut the relationship. Okay. And so this can be literally a divorce when I see it showing up here, but it does not have to be. This can really be any kind of decision that somebody makes, yourself included, Aries. This could be about you, or this could be somebody in your sphere of influence. And I'm really getting a 50-50 feel on this. Like some of you, it is going to be you. Some of you, not so much. So if this is somebody in your sphere of influence, then they are making a judgment call about whether it makes sense, to keep you in a particular position in their life or keep communication going with you or something along those lines. Okay. Now, with my King of Water showing up in the collective energy, this can be, I don't even want to say that this is the person making the decision, whoever that is, because my King of Water is overtaken by emotions. Emotions are sort of running the show instead of being under control. With the Justice card, this is somebody making this decision in a very fair way, in a way that makes sense. So this is not something making sense. All right, so this could very easily be the reaction that you're having to a decision that somebody is making about you that actually is a fair decision, or for the other 50% of you, this could be how you're making a decision about somebody else, and this could be their reaction, where they're sort of losing control of their emotions. So that can go a couple of different ways with that collective energy showing up there. Next up, we're going to look at Taurus. Seven of Water showing up in reverse, Taurus. Taurus, I really like this card because this card means that you've taken some time to consider all the different ways that you could improve something in your life. And now you have decided, okay, what am I going to focus on? Out of all the options that are out there, what option am I going to focus on to improve in my life? The thing is, the tricky part is with our King of Water and the collective energy in reverse, this tells me that as you are making some forward progress that is commendable, you've got somebody here that their emotions are just kind of losing control whenever they think about you doing this. So the emotional loss of control can have to do with this idea of this person can be really ecstatic and very happy, or they can be somebody who's very unhappy about this. So this can come in, a couple of different ways. I'm hoping that for most of you, this is somebody who's very ecstatic, very encouraging, maybe even very relieved with that card in reverse, that you are making some forward progress here, that you're taking that first step forward. So I think we like that. I know we like this part of it. All right, Geminis. Having a hard time just grabbing one card. By the way, this is the Good Tarot. That's the literal name of it, the Good Tarot. Okay, so Geminis, you guys have the Lover's card showing up in reverse. This is your card. Typically, Lover's card in reverse just talks to me. I'm going to tell you, this card really to me talks about the idea of a choice that you have. And historically, the Lover's card has been about choices more than partnerships. But I feel like there is a choice that you have right now, and I feel like whatever this choice is that shows up today, I kind of feel like it's not the choice that you thought you would have to make. I feel like everything is kind of turned on its head. As for you, as far as making this choice, there's something that has happened that has really shifted everything. And so now you're looking at this choice. Like I said, I think you weren't planning on having to make this choice at all. So now that this choice comes up, I think that is really a surprise for you, and it's kind of confusing. It almost comes across to me that you sort of have to get your bearings first, and with this King of Water and the collective energy, I think you have to get your emotions under control before you really feel like you can make this choice in any kind of confident way. Next up, let's look at Cancer. Cancers with the Page of Air showing up in reverse. This just means that you are passing along good advice to somebody in your sphere of influence. Now, this can be anything from helping a little one learn how to tie their shoes to teaching somebody at a 5,000 person seminar or 50,000 person seminar or anything in between. So passing along good advice to somebody in your sphere of influence, with this King of Water showing up here in our collective energy in the reverse, that person that you're passing along good advice to could be somebody who just has a lot of emotions running around as they're trying to come to terms with something. And so you are passing along some advice about how to basically calm down and how to look at this more rationally. All right, an interesting role for a Cancer to play, that's for sure. Next up, we're looking at Leo. Page of Fire showing up in reverse, Leos. Leo's Page of Fire for me just means that you're getting some kind of message in that is, oh, Leos. There's something that you want to do, and you're talking yourself out of it with this Page of Fire. Something that you feel really enthusiastic, inspired, and just happy about moving forward with, that you want to move forward with, but your self-talk is really throwing you off the line on this one. Whew, whew. And the reason you're giving yourself negative self-talk with this collective energy has to do with the idea that you're really in fear of what happens if you move forward with this thing. For some of you, this is what happens if I'm successful? How will my life change? Will I still have the same friends? Okay? Don't let fear rule your life. Don't let fear rule your life. Fear or love can rule your life. Which one are you going to let it be? Okay? So that's for Leo, Leo, Leo. Next up, let's look at Virgo. Virgo, you guys have the Fool showing up here. This just means that you are beginning something new as a leap of faith. Yes, yes. Something new that you're doing as a leap of faith. Something that you just know that you 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 know you should do, even though maybe logic really doesn't stand up for this. You just know that this is the time, this is the thing, this is what you want to do right now. You feel it. Okay. Now, with this King of Water in reverse, I really feel like this is our collective energy, and I really feel like you've got somebody around you. Virgos, you've got somebody around you who is afraid for you to start this new thing, and I think that they're expressing that. It reminds me of when I decided to quit my perfectly good job with perfectly good insurance and where I was working with perfectly good people, where morale was good. When I decided to quit that job, I was dating somebody at the time that at first he was really excited. And then as the reality set in, he was really scared. All right. So Virgos, you may be starting something, doesn't even have to be in your career space, but starting something new, and somebody around you is really on edge about it. They're really afraid for you as you do this. And I think that they'll express that. You may have to reassure them that things are not nearly as bad as what their imagination is leading them to believe. And of course, you don't want to focus on what their fears are. You want to focus on what you know you're supposed to be doing here. Okay, so that's for Virgo. Next up, let's look at Libra. Eight of Air for Libras. Okay, well, Libras, this is my overthinking card. Excuse me, it's not the 8, it's the 3 of Air. Whew, well, that just adds a whole other layer. Whole other layer. So Libras, I do think that you have something coming up today that causes you sadness. It causes you really to do a whole lot of overthinking. You basically just got two cards because this looked like a different card to me than what it is. So you've got some kind of sadness that shows up today that's causing you to overthink some type of situation. And part of the reason that you're overthinking the situation is this collective energy with this King of Water. This is somebody who their emotions are out of control. And so I think whenever this sadness comes up today, I think that you yourself understand, can accept to a certain a point, at least to the point that you know, okay, this is how I'm going to handle this situation. And then when you have the interaction with this person and you understand how they feel about the situation, and like I said, their emotions are out of control, that puts you into a point where you're overthinking, okay, how do I handle this? This person is really afraid for me to do this, that, or the other, but I think it's the right thing to do. And so now we see you thinking in circles. So Libra, don't let fear rule your life, okay? Even somebody else's fear, don't let that rule your life, all right? Now, let's look at Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. 10 of Earth. Okay, so this talks about the idea of getting to a certain point in feeling secure about something. For me, the Earth cards are energy. They're not just pentacles, although pentacles are one expression of energy. But there's something going on where we're feeling pretty secure today. And it's really interesting with our collective energy here being the King of Water in reverse. I think that how we feel is directly in contrast to how maybe some other people, or at least one person in our sphere of influence, is feeling. And Scorpios, we have an eclipse coming up pretty soon in our sign. And, that talks about transformation. We're kind of good at transformation. We kind of naturally remake ourselves as need be. We're almost chameleon spirits. We keep our cores, but we change our presentation several times throughout our lives. And so we are more comfortable with transformation. And it looks like this eclipse energy, so far, looks like it's doing us good. 10 of Earth, we're coming into this place where we're feeling more secure. So we are making whatever transition is coming up for us, we're making this transition in a more smooth, grounded way. And I think this is really in contrast to the people around us, other people who are experiencing this eclipse energy, who are not Scorpio, you know, this can be something that has them in their emotions or in their feels, as I have a friend that would say, in their feels. So they're really, they've really got a lot of fear going on. The more I go through this spread for today, the more this King of Water shows up for me as being somebody dealing with some fears, going through a fear-based mindset, basically. And so we've got somebody that we're setting the example of, look, this can be okay. This can be actually grounding. This can actually be a positive thing to make a transformation. So we're setting that example because there's people around us that are not feeling okay at all. And so they kind of need that calm influence of, at least figuratively, let me take you by the hand and show you how we can work with this energy. They're kind of needing that, and we happen to be that sign right now. Just because the eclipse happens to be in our sign, this is what we're comfortable with. This is what, you know, we were born into. We've been doing this as long as we've been alive, however long that might happen to be. Okay, that's Scorpio. Well, actually, I'm going to say that eclipse happened recently, since we're on the 22nd. Right now I'm recording this and it's only the 8th, so it's still coming up as of this recording. Sagittarius. I need to wet my whistle. Excuse me, guys. I think you're the first water card that came up for your sign. So Sagittarius, with the messenger of water, we like this. This just means that somebody is letting you know how important you are to them, how much they appreciate you, you know, how they feel about you, and in a very positive way. All right. Now, with the King of Water showing up here in reverse, Sagittarius, I think there's somebody around who's jealous that you're getting this attention. They're not very happy that somebody is letting you know how much they appreciate you and how much they think good of you. They're resenting this, or they're actually jealous of this. They're thinking, well, how come you're not saying that to me? Haven't I done things for you too? All right, so let's look at Capricorn. Capricorn's Queen of Air showing up here for you. Queen of Air just tells me that you're putting on your thinking cap, you're putting a strategy together, you're taking care of business, you're making the phone calls, you're scheduling, you're putting things in place. For me, the Queen of Air is all about strategy and action to follow goals or targets, whatever needs to be done to make things actually happen. So, you know, like I said, phone calls, scheduling, setup, whatever needs to happen, this is my Queen of Air. So this is you. And look, our Queen of Air, I would say normally that we probably would be maybe looking at a falcon, but no, that's the Nine of Pentacles. But Queen of Air, we've got an owl here, you know, so this talks about doing things in a smart way, doing things using some wisdom as we're setting up our strategy and doing some things here. So definitely that's what I see you doing. Now, we've got our King of Water showing up here in reverse in the collective. I'm really feeling Capricorn like, yeah, there is somebody who is letting their emotions kind of take front seat that's in your experience. But I also feel like they're kind of, they're in your experience, but I don't feel like they're necessarily taking up a whole lot of space. I feel like your focus is sort of keeping them out here on the periphery. So they're out here on the periphery dealing with their emotions. There's going to be a little bit of that comes into you just because it's a collective thing. You may very well just be holding space for that. Okay? But for that person, but I don't see that throwing you off of your plans, your strategy, your action that you're taking to reach whatever your target or your goal is today. All right? And who is that? That's my Capricorn people. All right, so next up, let's look at Aquarius. So Aquarius, you guys have the Seven of Earth showing up in reverse. Seven of Earth in reverse, Aquarius. That's telling me that you may have some type of payday that you were expecting today that is not actually happening today. Okay, so you might have been expecting a payday from an employer, or maybe you had a gig that was supposed to be paying you, or maybe investments were supposed to be paying dividends today. Something where you were getting a payday, that's not happening today. Doesn't mean it won't, does mean you need to have some patience to see that actually come in. Okay, now, with our collective energy being our King of Water in reverse, it's easy to see how this ties in. You may have a really emotional reaction to the idea of, hey, where's my money? I was counting on this. You know, there could be a definite emotional reaction to that. Okay. Next up, let's look at Pisces. Pisces with the World card showing up in reverse. This just means that you are making some adjustments to some sort of long-term target or goal that you had, something that you thought was ideal for you to accomplish or complete. And now you're realizing, maybe that's not as ideal as I thought. I think I want to adjust that dream. I want to tweak that goal. I want to make some changes to those plans because I want to achieve something a little bit different than what I thought was ideal before. Okay. And with this King of Waters showing up in reverse in the collective energy, part of what has made you feel like you need to adjust this may very well be an interaction with somebody who doesn't really have their emotions under control. They could be expressing to you how they feel about what your original idea of ideal was. And as they're expressing that passionately, it does cause you, I think, to reconsider what is really ideal and cause you to begin to make some adjustments and tweaks on those plans. Okay, so that's what I've got for everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing this video, liking it, and subscribing. And of course, thank you to those of you ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions. All of you guys' support is definitely appreciated. And if I don't get to see you in a reading or a Reiki session here later on today, then I will see you guys back on the next video. Peace out.